Hi there!
Incoming! Palacking!
This evening, we hairy game lords have been playing this. ANTgravity. What did we think? Stay tuned to find out. So, we may have given a little bit of a hint away as to what this game reminded us of. For those of you that remember, kind of quite simple insects, well, not insects, but kind of small animal related
Garden
games.
animal,
Garden
creature.
Animal. One of them might be called Jim for really old people as well.
That you may remember from your childhood gaming days on the computer. And it does bear a number of similarities to that game. But this, my days, we have had, we'll get straight to it, we've had a blast this evening. We'll be,
As it were.
There were quite a few blasts, in fact. Arguably, you're meant to play this game to the first person to get to three victory points. That happened relatively early on in the game. We were playing one thing wrong, but I think we all played it wrong in the same way, and so we kind of...
And it was funny.
So we allowed it. But as a result, the game finished a lot earlier than it would have finished on about round 3 or 4 out of 8. We were having so much fun, we just carried on playing until the end of the game, and then just totaled up our points at the end because it was that much fun.
Although actually, if we finished when we should have finished, Ange wouldn't have won.
It's true,
So
but
let's
then
just dial it back.
but Heat would have thrashed us.
Well, yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah, so because of that, there was a little mechanism that we misused. My retelling of the rules. That's what it was. And so you get these little power tokens when you kill an ant, or when you damage a location, an asteroid, and it may reveal an opportunity for you to get one of these. Now these are great. You can use 3 of them to draw another card. I'd never explained that, did I? And
No,
3, but you don't need that really because you're drawing cards all the time,
yeah.
pretty much. Or you can use one of them, or you can use them throughout your go to play another card. So on your go, the format is you move and play a card, or you play a card and move. And in your movement, you can jump into an empty space and then rotate. Now the cards talk about turning, which we found a little bit confusing because it's like you can take the turn action. Well, we're on a turn action. It's our turn to do the action. But we found if you change the word to rotate, it made more sense to us. So you can jump into an empty space, rotate your ant, and then the gravity takes place. So you resolve the gravity. So all of your little characters, and you have 2.
Yeah, but that's...
They're tiny people.
The size of an ant.
But there is a little arrow
There's
that
a little arrow.
shows you which way gravity will be working for that ant at that point. So obviously you can turn them on the map and they will fall until they stop.
Asteroid.
And they could fall off the edge of the board.
They could.
And if they do that, they die. And that is a brilliant way of wiping out other people's ants.
Yeah.
I did an awesome move with the X-18. Here it is here, this handsome weapon, which is brilliant because it's a missile that ignores the first obstacle. So I was able to shoot through my asteroid, destroying the asteroid beneath my asteroid, which happened to be an asteroid that Pete was stood on, with a couple of victory points as well. When that asteroid had disappeared, his gravity arrow was pointing down, which therefore let him fall off the board. Brilliant.
Terrible shame.
Yeah.
There are an awful lot of hugely entertaining items, that has to be said.
Absolutely.
I think, I had a perfect disguise, which when Pete was in a particularly useful place on the board, one of his, I nearly said a different garden creature, one of his ants actually turned out not to be one of his ants at all. Turned out to be one of my ants. And I just, that one's mine. This one over here, somewhere rubbish, is actually yours. Oh, never mind, Pete. Which,
And I guess that's one of the best thing about this game. And so, I mean, well, the best, I'm not sure, probably is.
The best thing was killing each other.
Yeah,
basically.
is that the high level of interaction and digging each other out and kicking each other off the planets, blowing each other up. There is that. So I guess big warning: if that isn't your gaming group or your gaming style, this game absolutely won't be for you. But if you can handle the fun of being killed and then coming, the beauty is when you are killed, you come back. You're able to access the legendary items, which are amazingly powerful. So you get one of those every time you're killed.
To a certain extent, being killed is actually slightly inconvenient if you were carrying a flag and just about to get loads of points.
That's right, because that flag goes back to...
It goes back to where it came from, which Ange did right at the end and cost me the win, in fact, because that would have been 2 points. But other than that, you get your guy back straight away, and he comes back to your base, and off you go. And you get one of the legendary items, which are massively cool.
Yeah,
so, to a certain extent, sometimes dying is not a terrible thing.
No,
true.
There was also a spectacular... Ange had completely stiffed me. I think it was Ange anyway. But to be fair, it's hard to remember because Ange and Pete both had a fair hand in.
Well, I think we all. It was.
There was much mutual.
As already said, I think it was you, Pete, was like, "This game's all about dying, like killing and dying and coming back to life, and not really about winning at all."
Yeah, it's not about winning; it's about the killing.
That's it. Yeah.
At one point, one of them used. There's a dummy asteroid which basically just lets you put one of these asteroids anywhere you like, as long as it hasn't got an ant already there. So I was right by the edge of the board, and he just completely boxed me in, so I couldn't go anywhere. However, he'd also put there are mines scattered throughout, and Ange had also been scattering mines. So in fact, I was completely boxed in. So my ant just jumped on a mine and killed himself because it was a turn.
That's it.
I died. I went off the board. I came back on my base next turn.
And actually,
little anti-tears.
I mean, it even says that in the rules that you could use the mines, or you can use it that you can't just walk off the edge of the board. That is not allowed. But you can destroy something that you're on to allow you to fall off the edge of the board. Because hey, that's your go, and at the beginning of your next go, you start back.
You can also blow up asteroids that people are standing on, and then gravity takes hold, and then they fall off the board.
Yeah.
So what's really great is that the map that you start off with is quite a full map with lots of asteroids. The map that you finish with looks nothing like that map.
Substantially emptier.
Yeah. Which is brilliant, because it means then actually as the game goes on, you may have been killed a few times, so you may have picked up a few amazing weapons, the legendary weapons, and therefore all of a sudden you realise that, oh, hold on, I can shoot through to another person's base here from my base, or maybe just from close by my base. This is brilliant.
Yeah, and it's a lot easier to get from one part of the board to get the flags back.
Absolutely,
as well.
yeah.
So it does open things up quite a lot towards the end game.
Another simple thing that will give a little bit of change to each game is the so some of the two things. Some of the asteroids will give you when you first they have 2 levels of destruction. You kind of damage them and then destroy. On damaging them, you flip them, and some of them will give you bonuses. So of course, with a random setup, that can change each game. So sometimes you'll get lucky with that, sometimes you won't. The other thing I did like was at the start of each round, when you're drawing your cards up, there's a kind of, I guess, an event. It's not an event, but as in with games, when you have an event, usually they give everybody something or take something away. And there's one of those things that happens with the round markers, and obviously they'll be randomised. So there was a point at which I'd got rid of all my cards, really looking forward to drawing up the 4 cards at the start of the round to replenish my hand. And on that round, we flipped over that you can't draw any cards at the start of the round thing, and that was brutal for me. That's it was just but that's what happened. It meant that I had to shift what I was going to do that turn and use the one card I'd got left.
But then the turn after, I think we all got an extra card.
So so I just think it's a game that doesn't take itself too seriously. You have got to be up for that, stabbing each other in the back, in the face, and blowing each other up on a regular basis. It is. I don't think it's not a game where you're going to be really upset if you've lost because you've had so much fun.
Absolutely.
And even if you were ganged up on and they got, which happened at points, at points I was like, oh, what, you're going to kill both of my players now? Oh, actually, that's not bad because I've now got 2 really good additional weapons and I'm going to have so much fun getting you back on my next 2 turns, using those to, I'll wait for you to have that really expensive flag that's taking you 3 or 4 moves to get across, and I'll take you out just at the right point to get you back.
Just cause.
Because I can.
Yeah.
Thanks for that from 3 rounds earlier.
Yes,
Payback to bitch.
Yeah. The artwork, I absolutely love
gorgeous.
the artwork throughout. So from the cards, I mean, that for me is how a card should look. It's you've got colour all the way to the outside. You've got nice clear text on there. You've got the very simple iconography of it's an ant head or it's an asteroid. And then you've got an awesome picture of the weapon. Love it. Absolutely love it. It's nice and clear throughout. Then throughout the board, you've just got beautiful artwork. And then even down to these little tokens where the mines are so cool. And love the artwork throughout this. Big fan of that. I mean, I don't feel like I can fault the game.
No. And I think if we'd played it how it should be, we'd have done it in, it says 45 minutes on the box.
Yeah,
we were probably 40 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably about right. We ended up playing for an hour and a half just because we wanted to.
We played longer because we were enjoying it so much.
Yeah, but very much probably a 45-minute game or 2 45-minute games because I was just play it.
I was thinking if we're going to finish this early, I want to play this game again.
Yeah, just because we'd only just started blowing each other up. But no, absolute tons of fun. Very much in keeping with the theme of ants.
Destroying each other.
And the landscape.
And the landscape.
Yeah. Reminds me of something.
Can't think what.
No, I can't
No.
think what at all.
No.
But anyway, you should check this out and get involved. Definitely.
2 thumbs up. Thanks, Andy.
What's the holy hand grenade noise?
Incoming!